Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Mindy. Today I am sharing with you one of the most popular types of videos on my channel. This is a budget cooking video, so stay tuned. If you don't find what you're looking for with this video, I hope that you will check out the playlist that I have linked in the description box below. I have done dozens of these budget cooking videos using different parameters, shopping at different stores, using different budgets, cooking for a family, cooking for just one person, using different appliances in my kitchen to only using the microwave. I've made budget cooking videos where I cook a lot from scratch using really basic ingredients, and I also have videos where I have used some convenience items or some pre-packaged, pre-seasoned items to make meals from, which is actually the tack that I took with this video. So if this one doesn't float your boat, I hope that you will check out that list below and see if there is something else that is closer to what you're looking for. For this video, I shopped at Aldi and my budget for myself was $10 to make 2 family meals, and I really wanted these to be very kid-friendly. I am also currently living in one of those weeks as a mom where I just do not have very much extra time on my hand. So I took a few shortcuts and I used some convenience ingredients to make these meals to feed my family this week. Maybe you already have some of these ingredients. Maybe you need to shop at another store, but I will show you what I purchased, what I paid for it, and then show you how I used it to make 2 dinners for my family that came out to just about $5 a piece. If you need to change these up to suit your tastes or preferences or to suit the budget that you are working with, then by all means do so. I'm just trying to give some ideas. Maybe this will be a jumping off point that will lead to other ideas that will work even better for your family. Before we dive in, I hope that you will hit that like button, give me a thumbs up because it helps me appease the algorithm. And if you like this type of content, I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel because I, like I said, have done a lot of these videos and plan to continue doing them in the future. Believe it or not, I'm going to get 2 family meals out of what you see here on the counter that I purchased at Aldi. Who says you can't have fresh produce on a budget? I got some zucchini. They were on sale for $1.29 a pound. I got a package that is just a little bit less than 1.5 pounds. And then the Roma tomatoes are $1.09 for a 1 pound package. Not a bad deal. I also got 1 box of beef flavored. This is kind of like their rice-a-roni take. You'll see how I'm going to use that. 1 block of extra sharp cheddar cheese. This is an 8-ounce block. They are $1.85 at my Aldi right now. You could switch this out for a different kind of cheese. I'm going to use half of this in each of the meals that I'm making. And since I'm using a little less cheese than I probably normally would, I went for a sharp and actually an extra sharp because that will be a little bit more flavorful than some of the more milder cheeses. I have a can of chili with no beans and then a can of chili flavored beans, which I know sounds really interesting right next to each other. Why didn't I just, cut a corner and buy chili with beans? You'll see why. And I wanted to get pinto beans, but they didn't have any. So you could change this out for a different kind of beans. They had black beans. Once you see how I'm using these, you can decide what you want to use. You could also do refried beans. They do have a couple of different kinds of pastas there that are 79 cents a box. But they have the farfalle and then I think it's like a tricolor rotini that are only 12-ounce boxes. And they usually have a penne and another kind of pasta that's a 16-ounce box. But they were out of those 16-ounce boxes for the 79-cent price. So I went ahead and went for the bow ties, which is actually okay because 12 ounces is usually about all that I use in the meals that I make for my family. That's 6 servings of pasta plus with the other things we're going to put along with it. It will make 5 to 6 servings, which for us is just fine. I also got a package of flour tortillas. This is the kind of the large size, the burrito size. So there's 8 of them in here. And I also got one of these cans of crescent rolls. And this is actually what put me just a little bit over my budget, but I wanted to try something with these to go along with the pasta dish that I'm gonna make. So you'll see what I'm using those for here in a bit. My total before tax for everything that I showed you was $10.44. So I was just a little bit over my $10 budget. And what put me over was this right here, the crescent rolls. Had I just picked up a regular loaf of white bread for 79 cents for a whole loaf, I could have made some toast to go along with the pasta dish and I would have come in very close to my budget. I also could have picked up a slightly smaller package of zucchini, but you can decide if you want to do that, or maybe there's some things that you already have on hand that you can use that you won't have to purchase for this meal plan. Full disclosure, friends, I am actually going to prepare both of these meals on the same night because I am in one of those situations where I have time to cook today and I will not have time to cook tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook both meals tonight, which is great because they're both going in this video. And then tomorrow I will already have like the leftovers from these 2 meals that we can have for dinner tomorrow night. But you don't have to do it that way. You could make them separately. You don't have to cook them at the same time. I'm just gonna go ahead and make them together because that's kind of what I need to do to make it through the next few days. I know you guys know what I mean. We're gonna make some chili cheese bean and rice burritos with a side of roasted zucchini. So this is what I'm using to make that. I have my tortillas. I have 2 of my zucchinis. I've set the other one aside for the other recipe. I have 2 of my Roma tomatoes and I've set the others aside for the other recipe. I have my can of chili beans, my can of chili with no beans, and also my rice, but you'll notice that I have removed the seasoning packet because I'm actually going to use that in the other recipe, the ingredients for which are over there. And I also have my block of cheese here. I'm only gonna use half of it in this recipe, but I'm gonna shred it all up with my new handy dandy cheese grater at the same time. So I'll just be using half for this recipe and half for the other recipe. I have 2 cups of water, and then I'm gonna season it with a little salt and pepper and a little bit of olive oil. You can leave this out if you want to. It's up to you how you season it. Let's get started. I'm gonna start by actually browning the rice just a little bit. So I'm gonna put some olive oil in my pot here and I'm gonna turn it to about medium. And then I'm going to add my rice and vermicelli mix here. Stir that around. And I'm just gonna let that brown for a minute or 2 before I add the rest of the ingredients for the burrito filling. I'm going to add my tomatoes, which I chopped. I chopped up 2 of my tomatoes. You could absolutely use canned tomatoes if you want. I just thought it would be fun to use the fresh ones today, and they were a really great price. I'm also going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper since I'm not using the seasoning packet in this particular recipe. I'm gonna add my beans with the liquids in there. And I'm gonna use the back of my spoon and I'm gonna kind of try to smash the beans up just a little bit because I don't really want them to be whole beans. Like I said, I would have preferred probably to use refried beans with this, but I just decided to go with the chili beans instead. But it'll still be a nice texture not to have just, you know, like the refried beans in there. Totally your call on whether or not to smash the beans. I just decided that I would try to do that. Now I'm adding 2 cups of water to this and I'm gonna bring it to a simmer and cover it until the rice is cooked through, and then this is going to be our burrito filling. I put my can of chili in a bowl here and I'm gonna actually put it in the microwave because I think it's easier to spoon over the burritos if it is warm. But make sure if you are doing this that you cover it with a paper towel before you put it in the microwave because this is the kind of thing that will splatter everywhere and I don't want anybody to hate their life or be cursing my name as they are trying to clean up splattered chili off of the inside of their microwave, okay? Word to the wise. Time to make the burritos. I have a regular like 9x13 dish here. I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little nonstick spray. And then I'm gonna take my tortilla and I'm gonna put some of this bean and rice mixture right here in the center. I think I'm just gonna roll these the easy way. Just roll them up like so. Put them seam side down. Oh no, they won't fit. Then let's do it this way. Take 2. Nothing like improvising on camera, y'all. Roll them up this way. I'm definitely gonna have to fold them at the bottom so that they will all fit in here. That one doesn't look very pretty. Let's see if we can do a better job on this one. Boop, boop. There we go. It's probably a better tack to take right there. It took a little finesse, you guys, but I was able to fit all 8 burritos here in the dish. And now I have my chili. Remember, I warmed this up in the microwave. Don't forget to cover it if you're putting it in the microwave. I'm just gonna spoon this over the top of the burritos like so. Sprinkle some of my cheese over the top. And then I'm just going to pop these into the oven at 350 until they are heated through, probably about 20 minutes or so. You wanna check them. Make sure that they're not, you know, burning on the bottom or something like that. To go along with these, I just chopped up my zucchinis and I'm just gonna go ahead and put those in a skillet on the stove and saute them in a little bit of oil and salt and pepper. You could put them onto a foil lined cookie sheet and roast them as well, totally up to you, but that's gonna be our veggie side to go along with this. I can't wait to try this. next recipe, and I have my 12-ounce box of bow tie pasta here, plus my other zucchini and my other 3 Roma tomatoes. I'm going to wash and dice those up here in just a second to use in this recipe. This is the seasoning packet from the rice mix from the previous recipe. We're going to use that to season this dish. I still have some of my shredded cheddar cheese left. This is probably maybe a little less than half, maybe 3 ounces of my cheddar cheese, and I'm going to do something with these crescent rolls to go along with it. You also can add salt and pepper to taste to season this. So let me show you what I'm doing with all this. So to start off, I have my tomatoes, which I chopped up right here in the pot, and I haven't turned the heat on yet. I've already cooked my pasta, and it is sitting in the stock pot next to me. And before I drain it, I want to add just a little bit of the starchy pasta water here to my pot that I'm going to make the sauce in. So I'm going to put a few ladles of that, probably the equivalent of about 3/4 of a cup or so, here in the pot with the tomatoes, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on. This is the seasoning mix from the box of rice that I purchased, so I'm going to put that in as well. And then I'm going to stir it and bring it up to a simmer. I just want those tomatoes to start to break down just a little bit before we add the zucchini. I'm going to add 1 more ladle of starchy pasta water before I drain the pasta. So let's just say about a cup of pasta water. We are simmering here, so I'm going to turn the heat down to low, and I'm going to pop the lid on here, and I'm going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes because I really want those tomatoes to start to break down a little bit before we add everything else. Here are my little crescent rolls. I'm going to go ahead and carefully open this can. This is the worst part. Okay, made it. There we go. Boop, boop. I have a little bit of my cheese left, and you could just put this into the pasta. You could mix it in right before you serve it if you wanted, but I thought it would be fun, since I am, kind of making these recipes with the kids in mind, to make some little like cheesy crescent roll-ups here. So I'm just gonna take my crescent rolls, and I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese here in the center of it and kind of roll it up here. See if I can keep that from being a complete mess, but this will be like little cheese-filled crescent rolls. Just pop them into the oven to go along with the pasta. Those are ready to go in the oven, and it says to put them into the oven at 375 for 9 to 12 minutes. So I'm gonna set the timer for 10 minutes to check on them. Little cheesy crescents. We've been simmering for about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in my zucchini. And I'm gonna let that cook together for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll be ready to stir in the pasta. And then that's basically it. It'll be ready to plate up. Of course, if you want to, you can add like some ground sausage or ground beef or some cooked chicken to this pasta dish. If you are looking for an idea for how to bulk this up, or maybe up the protein content a little bit without having to pay a lot for the meat, you might consider chickpeas. I actually thought about throwing in a can of drained, rinsed chickpeas into the sauce, but since I'm making this primarily for my kids to eat over the next couple of days, I thought that I would go with the crescent rolls instead. So there's just an idea for you. I'm keeping it pretty simple, pretty basic, so that it will be kid friendly. But if you wanted to, I think chickpeas would work well in this dish. Okay, I have to admit, I was a little bit worried about this one, about the pasta dish, because it didn't turn out as like tomato-y as I thought it would. I thought it would be a little bit more like a tomato sauce, and that the seasoning from the rice mix would just kind of help season it a little bit, and then the zucchini would add like a little bit of, vegetable nutrition to it. But I have to say that it's really tasty. It's definitely different from other pasta dishes that I've had. It definitely takes on the flavor of that rice, like the rice-a-roni, the beef flavored rice-a-roni, except with the pasta. So it's different from like a marinara or a tomato-based pasta sauce, but it's really pretty good. I really like it. That's good. That turned out good. I like that. Definitely has a little bit of like a beefy flavor, even though there's no beef in it, because we use that seasoning packet from the rice mix. So glad we did that. That's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again really soon.